It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
But we got a team in here. This is like a chant. Now everybody come up here. We gotta score. Let's go.
Oh, he kind of matches the tone there.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly, of the Vikings horn. Purple Daily. Phil Mackey, Judd Zolgad, Declan Goff, our executive producer, powered by our friends at TCL. Enjoy more of what you love with TCL. And boys, this is a 4-question Friday right here. 4 questions about the Vikings and life and contemplating our meaning as specks of dust on this earth.
Yeah.
And we'll start out with this one. Speaking of the horn that played to an empty stadium last year, where Judd covered some of those games. So crowd noise is going to be back. And as of right now, U.S. Bank Stadium's going to be at full capacity, right? Have they announced that?
Yes.
So full capacity.
I believe every stadium now in the National Football League has been cleared for full capacity.
So 75-ish thousand just raging, screaming fans inside that beautiful structure. So question number 1 is, how will crowd noise at U.S. Bank Stadium and even on the road, I think just crowd noise in general across the entire league, how will it impact things for the Vikings this year?
It's going to be a massive advantage for the Vikings at home because I have seen this before. Young and old quarterbacks have melted down because that place gets so loud and they can't think, they can't hear. It's intimidating. Now, I'm not going to say for a second that the crowd would have saved the Vikings defense last season because the defense stunk. I mean, there's no two ways about that. It wasn't good. So not to imply that the Vikings season would have been a whole lot different with crowds in 2020 because the starting point has to be, is your defense good? If it is, the crowd helps them. This defense should be much improved. And again, I can go through a list of a lot more quarterbacks who seem to struggle with the noise in U.S. Bank Stadium as opposed to the ones who just sort of work through it and grind through it, i.e. a Drew Brees who doesn't seem affected. So I think as far as the 2021 Vikings go, from a defensive standpoint, especially having capacity crowds back in that stadium and with the improvements that the team has made personnel-wise, it is going to be a drastic difference and a huge advantage. I'm guessing U.S. Bank Stadium, if you had to list like where it falls among home field advantages in the league, I'm guessing it's top 5 because it does get deafening.
Yeah, the Metrodome was always top 5. Once they started selling out again in 1998, basically from 98 until
Piping
they closed that
noise.
thing down. Yeah, piping and noise and putting speakers, turning these large, massive, like car-sized speakers toward the opposing team benches so they couldn't have meetings on the sidelines. Like that was a thing. But I'll never forget. We knew that last year was going to be weird, and we knew that it was going to be a challenge for the Vikings to. We knew that home field advantage was a big deal for the Vikings. But in week 1, when you saw Aaron Rodgers on like the first drive of the season in an empty, eerie stadium do a hard count on the road, and I think twice he got Vikings defensive linemen to jump off sides, it was like, whoa, okay. And then you start to look at the Vikings schedule, and it was no coincidence. The home games they played, okay? The Packers in week 1, Aaron Rodgers basically with no noise constraints, no need to do like, what do they call it? Silent snap counts, right?
Silent count, yep.
Could sit up there and do hard counts on the road. And we sit here and scratch our heads about that other, the Falcons loss at home, because the headline there was Kirk Cousins melted down, threw a pick on the first throw of the game. But Matt Ryan has been one of the better quarterbacks in the league for, 15 years, right? And you give a veteran like Matt Ryan a chance to go up to the line of scrimmage on the road, get to communicate clearly with his offensive line, and the ability to literally lean to your right to a wide receiver who's standing, 20, 30 yards away from you and communicate to him on the road is something we don't see in the NFL. Being able to tap your left guard and your center and say, hey, guys, we're going to do this because there's no crowd noise. That was a huge advantage for veteran quarterbacks coming into U.S. Bank Stadium. And so I think, Kirk was even on the record saying he kind of enjoyed playing in empty stadiums because for him, He just needs to be. Sometimes the crowd can get going on the road, and you see him play poorly in Chicago and Green Bay, right? But like, I think the crowd on the road is going to hurt Kirk a little bit, but I think overall the crowd at home is going to help the Vikings more than it's going to hurt Kirk. So a net positive for sure. What do you think, Declan?
Yeah, I mean, I love US Bank Stadium. The Miracle game and I believe it might have been the Week 17 Bears debacle at the end of 2018. Those crowds, at least to start, were insane. It's the only time I never do this because I do just enjoy loud things. I know I'm going to be deaf by the age of 50. My iPhone reminds me every day when I go on my walks that you need to turn down your volume because you're listening at an unhealthy decibel level.
Oh God!
I'm definitely going to lose my hearing. I know I'm going to lose my hearing. It's just going to go to crap. But the Miracle game was the only time I actually brought my headphones, like my noise canceling ones. Yeah, that's basically what it was. I couldn't hear myself. Even on the calls that I had to do with ESPN. I had to walk away because I can't hear myself at my seat.
Just wah, 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 wah.
Humble brag right there. Yeah, when I was calling in.
Sick, I was on ESPN.
Yeah, thank you.
Freddie Coleman. I mean, when I was talking to my good friend, Freddie Coleman and Mark Schler,
my dudes.
Couldn't hear me.
My dudes. Can't do it anymore, though. But yeah.
We should just, like, during our show, we should test ourselves with a road environment like this. Yeah, so,
Kirk Cousins,
do a silent show.
Yeah, what's our equivalent? I guess we would have to learn sign language and communicate with each other.
Twice. That means something.
It means a hot take is on the horizon. Not a hot route, a hot take.
Yeah. Well, those are baseball coaches' signs there.
Yep.
Still work, though.
Yeah,
all right, question number 2 for you guys here, which, by the way, is presented by our friends over at Federated. Federated has been helping business owners get that peace of mind that they deserve. Rest your head easy on the pillow. They provide risk management resources and tools to help take your business to the next level or maximize it. And they've been doing this since 1904, based in Owatonna. They've been partnering with us here at Score North for a number of years in Purple Daily, so we appreciate their partnership. Find out more about how they can help your business at federatedinsurance.com. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Question number 2. So we did a full episode on Mackie and Judd about Josh Donaldson ruffling feathers. In fact, do we have that? Is that in this database, or do we have to?
I can get it in 1 second.
I think the Purple Daily audience would appreciate edgy Josh Donaldson. We just need like one of the clips here, because my question's going to be, who is your favorite Josh Donaldson-like Vikings player of all time? Is there like a Josh Donaldson, salty, edgy, will call out opposing teams in the media? If we have a clip.
He said, I wish he'd say it to my face, right? Well, I did say it to his face. We had a talk last night. And let's just be quite frank with this. He didn't have much to say.
Just calling out opposing pitchers. So is there a Josh Donaldson equivalent in Vikings history?
My favorite edgiest Viking that I covered, but he wasn't like outspoken at all, was Steve Hutchinson. But he's not a Donaldson equivalent because he didn't really talk that much, but he was salty. My parallel to Donaldson from a football standpoint, if we're talking about guys I actually liked, because Chris Carter was like that, but I didn't like him. My favorite salty but good player was probably Pat Williams.
Yes.
Who was an unbelievable quote, ripped everyone he played. We finally, the first time we're like, oh my God, he's ripping this guy. And like the next week went back, he did the same exact thing. It was like every team. He's like, that center's hot garbage. You can't stop me. No one can stop me. He's garbage. He's garbage. But anyway, Pat was also great fun. Pat was a really good player. And had no fear, like the same type of thing. He had absolutely no fear of the repercussions.
Like who's gonna do anything to you? You're like 365 pounds. Like no one's gonna clap back at you, right?
But I mean, there might be like coaches who are like, let's not fire up the opposing team. But Pat didn't care, which I loved. He was great copy. So if I was to draw a parallel to like the respect I have in Donaldson, literally going after pitchers who could try to end his life. It would have been Fat Pat. I love Fat Pat.
I'll give you a few other ones. John Randall was more of a happy-go-lucky trash talker.
Yeah,
but that dude would memorize details about opposing players' families and stuff. Yeah,
you get to meet a guy, and he was a great quote too.
He did his homework. Josh Donaldson does his homework. He knows your spin rate, and he's going to tell you hey, I know you were cheating because your spin rate's down. I'll give you two other ones from fairly recent Vikings history. Jared Allen was not afraid to pop off.
Yep.
He'd call his own guys out. He'd call opposing players out. We had him on this show a few months ago, and he was great. And speaking of guys who've been on this show, Alex Boone was only here for a minute, but
yeah, that's a good one.
Alex Boone, I mean, he never played at an MVP caliber level like Josh Donaldson did in baseball. He was more of just like the scrappy undrafted or late round draft guy. And I think people remember the 1 year that he was here as being disappointing because he was running his mouth but wasn't living up to the expectations. We found out just working with him here, and hopefully we've been in contact. He's still trying to make a roster here for 2021. When that dream is dead, I think we're going to get him back in the mix here at Purple Daily. It'd be super fun. But, he was not afraid to just call people to the carpet, whether he was right or wrong. So I think Alex Boone was kind of a diet Josh Donaldson. Anybody else? Dex? Anyone? I'm forgetting.
I liked always talk like Jarius Wright was fun. Jarius Wright was a really, really fun guy to talk to.
Would he chirp guys?
He wouldn't chirp necessarily, but he would chirp his teammates, which I always really liked. I once interviewed him on a goofy segment of NFL players who could wear a romper, mostly his teammates. And he said he could see Jerick McKinnon wearing one. He could see Xavier Rhodes wearing one. He was just a goofy dude. He was a fun guy to talk to. Also, Everson Griffin. I think Everson Griffin obviously is brash and was amazing too.
That's a good one.
That's a good one, yeah.
So who scared you? Because Josh has that look in his eye where he might tear you apart.
Boone can be scary.
Boone can be scary.
Boone's a likable guy behind the scenes, but
Hutch was scary. Pat was huge, but he wasn't scary. Pat never scared me.
He was a big teddy bear.
He was a big man, but
who could end your life with one move.
Griffin, who Dex just said, Everson Griffin scared you. If he got mad, he scared you.
Yeah,
a little bit scary. Of a far away look in that dude's eye.
Well, I mean, look at Donaldson when he talks, like the thing that you just played, Phil. I mean, there's a look in that man's eye that said, I could come through this camera and rip your throat out if I wanted.
And I may have just done that, actually. Sorry, John Shipley from the Pioneer Press, but your life is over now.
Lucas, if you're Giolito and you're walking to your car, you're like, oh, tough day of work, but I won the game.
And Josh Donaldson's sitting on the parking
do you think he was lurking? Do you think he was lurking?
Do
you think he was on his car? Do you think he was sitting on the hood of Giolito's car? I'd love to know more about this.
It's amazing.
You like that?
I love it.
You like that?
I love the confrontational nature. Baseball needs more of it. Baseball lacks spice and sizzle and reasons to watch and engage.
Not now.
So I'm here for it.
Josh.
All right. Question number 3. Speaking of things that have spice, the NBA playoffs have been very fun and random this year. We're going to get the Phoenix Suns out of the Western Conference, and then whoever comes out of the East here between the Bucks and the Hawks. So my question is, and we had a similar question at the beginning of the playoffs, and the Lakers got bounced, but here's my tweak on it. You're going to have under-the-radar teams that are playing for the championship. Like in terms of when the season started, nobody thought the Suns were going to be playing in the championship. You might have the Suns and the Hawks playing for an NBA title here. All right. So which under-the-radar teams that are that no one is talking about right now in the NFL about being a Super Bowl winner? All right. People thought the Suns were going to maybe make the playoffs and the Hawks were going to be in the mix.
Right.
So not totally irrelevant, but which two teams do you think could play each other in the Super Bowl that are not really being talked about as Super Bowl contenders right now?
Let's see. Let's start with Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to go
kick you in the teeth. All right. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate that.
I'm going to go with from the AFC, the Los Angeles Chargers. Good young quarterback, new coach. But you're asking for surprises. So I can't come up with a team that is considered to be a possibility, really. I think the Chargers, though, are probably going in the right direction because they have a quarterback, which helps. So I'll go with them from the AFC. The NFC, I was going to say San Francisco, but I feel like they're set to pop again. So that might be too obvious of selection by me. So I'm going to go, this is not an under the radar franchise, but I don't think it's expected for them to make a run. That they finally put it together. Dak Prescott bounces back from his injury. Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
Now, I looked like a fool a year ago because I liked them going into the season, and they were a complete mess, and Prescott got hurt. But I will go with just as far as popping up and surprising you, a Chargers-Cowboys Super Bowl.
Yeah. Dax?
All right, I'll go completely off the wall here. I will say, and it pains me to do this because I would be very upset if this happened, but if Justin Fields is legit, the Chicago Bears making a run. That defense is still damn good. Yes, I do not trust Matt Nagy. That is the biggest X factor of that team not doing anything. And I don't even know if it's an X factor. It's just Matt Nagy. It's the Nagy factor. I can see the Chicago Bears being one of those two teams, especially if Justin Fields is indeed legit. I know they're still saying QB1 is Andy Dalton, which is just hilarious. So that's my NFC representative. And of course, I have to do this for the AFC. And by the way, I'm looking at covers.com right now for Super Bowl odds. By the way, boys. I'm looking at covers.com Super Bowl odds. And this team is actually insanely high for me. And I think they're banking on maybe a possible trade. The Denver Broncos. Now, I love my Drew Lock and I love my Teddy Bridgewater. That defense is still good. Same with the head coaching problem in Chicago. But right now, the Denver Broncos are plus 2,000 to win the Super Bowl. That's better odds than the Colts, Saints, Seahawks, Titans, Patriots, Vikings, Chargers.
Wow.
That seems insanely
They're
high.
preparing for Aaron Rodgers to be traded.
That's got to be what it is, right?
Oh, you know what it is? Okay, even this. So they have opening odds and current odds. The Broncos opened at plus 6,600, which would be the second, third to fourth worst odds, and now they're up to 2,000. Vegas knows something.
This is people who are driving the betting toward Aaron Rodgers playing for the Broncos.
Right.
That's interesting. I'm gonna give you a couple here. I think the Colts in the AFC, no one's really talking about them as a Super Bowl contender because Carson Wentz is broken, but I think the Colts could be one out of the AFC. And then I'm going to stay in Phoenix. I think the Cardinals, could you say that Kyler Murray is kind of the Devin Booker, right? They're just uniquely skilled and just need some better teammates around them, and they just need that final piece to the puzzle. So I'm going to say it wouldn't shock me if the Cardinals made a big push. Now, Judd has Cliff Kingsbury getting fired, and write that down. So this thing could go one of two very different directions.
But I do like Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Still like him.
And then the other team I would throw in here, and this is, you guys are going to laugh at this, but they showed flashes last year, and they're finally being coached well. The Washington football team. They just brought in Ryan Fitzpatrick, so there's going to be some stability at the quarterback position that they didn't have with Dwayne Haskins, right? They made the playoffs. It's a fairly weak division. So could the Washington football team make a little run and do some damage with a Ron Rivera coached vibe?
I think if they had a better quarterback, there'd be a chance.
Fitz magic doesn't do it for you in the playoffs.
No, because he'll have five great games.
He's never played in the playoffs.
Terrible ones.
I don't think he's ever played in the playoffs.
He's a great story, but he's not going to be the quarterback of the Super Bowl team. Write that down.
Boys, question number 4 here on 4 Question Friday, presented by PXG. All right, you're looking for a little boost to your golf game, looking for a little...
Declan's going golfing probably Sunday again.
Barrel.
Yeah, I think I am, actually.
Got to get Declan maybe some of these Gen 4 clubs from PXG. Drivers, fairways, hybrids, irons. You can check out all kinds of different clubs with different sort of price ranges, and you can test them out. It's a golfer's paradise at PXG Minneapolis in Southdale Center, and you can find out more at pxg.com/Minneapolis if you're looking to heat up the clubs here in these summer months. All right, boys, it's the would you rather question of the week. Would you rather have to eat broccoli every day for the rest of your life, or be forced to watch an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians every day for the rest of your life? And we're going to say at least one plate of broccoli every day, like a full plate of steaming broccoli. And now you can't just nibble. You got to clear your plate every day.
Guess who likes broccoli? That's right, this guy. I am taking the broccoli all the time. And plus, you know what? I can slather it up with some butter, nice little butter, put it in the microwave.
I'm going to take that option off the board here. It's got to be plain.
You know what? No, I'm still
broccoli.
not watching. You said watch the Kardashians every day for the rest of my life, an episode a day? You got to be kidding me. No, I'm eating broccoli. I don't care. It can be frozen. I will gnaw at it till it defrosts in my mouth.
What? Dude.
I am not watching the Kardashians. I am eating the broccoli.
broccoli.
And you know what? I'm going to be healthier than anyone else. By the end of this, I will be the healthiest dying man. I'll be the healthiest dead guy in the history of dead guys.
Dex?
Yeah, that's easy for me. Broccoli, dude. I
Really?
love broccoli. I love broccoli.
Broccoli's good.
Broccoli's delicious.
Just straight up
So,
plain broccoli.
Spinach? You actually like
yeah,
spinach?
spinach.
I love
Brussels
spinach
sprouts.
too. Kids hate
broccoli.
spinach.
I'm
I
definitely
like
I'm not
spinach.
out on broccoli. I'm more in on Brussels sprouts.
Brussels
We'll do
sprouts
that.
Love
are
Brussels
very, very
sprouts.
good.
Daily broccoli is a no for me, dog. And I'm gonna admit something.
I
here
knew who was.
on the show.
I knew what you were doing with this question.
As a guy who, for multiple years, has willingly watched shows like Keeping Up with the Kardashians and Love at First Sight, and some of the Real Housewives franchises, when I'm not mowing down football games, give me the Kardashians. Yeah, there's like 20 seasons of episodes to choose from here. You can go watch the Chris Humphries era. You can watch, I think there's a Rashad McCants era in there at some point with Chloe. Remember that? Rashad McCants like bought some stock low on the Kardashians back
No,
then.
I have no recollection because I don't watch that crap.
Rashad McCants dated Chloe before all this
I
stuff.
vaguely remember that, but I did not know that he appeared.
Rashad
I remember reading about Chris Humphrey being in the show, but yeah, no, I'm not watching it. I've never watched it. Is that an E show? What?
Oh,
who
now you're
carries this
curious.
show?
Oh, now you're curious.
No, I don't even know who carries it.
Oh, I don't know. Oh,
I don't know
no.
who carries
I
it,
don't
so
know.
no,
Who
I
is
won't
it?
be watching it. I like broccoli.
They just wrapped up their series finale, I think, a couple weeks ago. And yes, it is an E show.
The last time I watched The Kardashian was when I watched the OJ trial, and the dad was helping try the case along with Johnny Cochran and Flea Bailey.
Yeah. I
That's
thought
the
you were
last
going to say
time,
the last
Robert.
time I watched a Kardashian episode was the Kim sex tape. And I was like, Judd.
No.
Like you said,
No. I also did not watch that. I think no. In fact, I didn't. Did I know she had one? I knew Paris Hilton had one way back when, like 2003. I didn't see it. Well, I didn't see most of it.
I mean, I know it was night vision, but I was just there for the
I
articles.
must have had a friend who was in a not safe for work situation. It was not me, by the way.
All right, that's 4-Question Friday here on Purple Daily. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We love the community that you guys have helped drive in the YouTube comment section. So definitely keep those discussions coming, and click that subscribe button if you're watching us on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. Over 15,000 subscribers and going up every day. So thank you, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on Purple Daily.